America doesn't feel like a country that builds anymore. Budgets stall, timelines stretch, and projects that were supposed to be done a decade ago are still making headlines for the wrong reasons. But underneath the noise, 5 megaprojects are quietly rewriting that story, and at least one of them is probably closer to you than you think. Gateway Hudson Tunnel Project. The busiest rail corridor in the Western Hemisphere runs on tunnels that were built before World War I. That's not a metaphor for aging infrastructure. Those are the actual tunnels Amtrak and New Jersey Transit use every single day to move passengers in and out of Penn Station, and Hurricane Sandy nearly finished them off in 2012. The damage from that storm never fully went away. Engineers have been patching the same deteriorating walls ever since, while over 600,000 passengers roll through them daily without knowing how close to the edge the whole system sits. One bad failure doesn't just delay a commute, it shuts down the entire Northeast corridor from Boston all the way to Washington, D.C. trains stop. Businesses lose productivity. Cities that depend on that corridor for their daily workforce grind to a halt. The economic damage starts stacking up in the hundreds of millions within days. That's the problem the Gateway Hudson Tunnel project exists to solve. Running from Newark to Manhattan, the new tunnel stretches 13 miles total, most of it underwater, and it's being bored by machines so large they're basically underground factories. Each one weighs around 2,500 tons and pushes through the kind of waterlogged sediment that's been sitting under the Hudson River since the last ice age. They're doing this while trains still run overhead and boat traffic continues on the surface, completely undisturbed. When it's done, the old tunnels finally get the repairs they've needed for years without shutting down service to do it. The region gains a rail system that actually works under pressure, and economists estimate the ripple effect at over $19 billion in economic benefits over the next 30 years. But tunnels aren't the only thing getting built. The next project is happening above the water, and it's about to become the longest of its kind in all of North America. Gordie Howe International Bridge. Right now, a single aging bridge carries 25% of all trade between the United States and Canada. No backup, no redundancy. Just one structure handling around 8,000 trucks every single day, and if something goes wrong on that bridge, billions of dollars in auto parts, food, and manufactured goods sit completely still. That bridge is the Ambassador Bridge connecting Detroit and Windsor, Ontario. It's been doing this job for decades, and it's been doing it alone. The risk isn't theoretical. One accident, one weather event, one structural problem, and 2 of the largest economies in the world feel it immediately. The Gordie Howe International Bridge changes that. When it finishes, it will be the longest cable-stayed bridge in North America, a main span stretching over 2,800 feet with 6 lanes of traffic and a full border crossing complex built into both ends. The towers alone rise over 700 feet into the air. That's roughly the height of a 70-story building anchored into bedrock on both sides of the Detroit River, with 216 individual cables holding the whole deck in place. What makes this project unusual isn't just the size, it's the fact that 2 countries built it together. Jointly funded by the US and Canadian governments, the construction had to meet 2 sets of standards, coordinate workers from both sides of the border, and keep the existing Ambassador Bridge running at full capacity the entire time. When it opens, trucks and commuters crossing between Detroit and Windsor will have a modern, dedicated facility designed specifically for the volume of traffic this border was always meant to handle. The result is a trade corridor with a backup plan and an economy on both sides that's significantly less fragile because of it. So here's a quick question before moving on. Which of these 2 projects surprises you more? A tunnel bored through underwater sediment with trains still running above it, or 2 countries jointly building the longest cable-stayed bridge on the continent? Drop it in the comments. Sunzia Wind and Transmission Project. It took 17 years to get permission to build a power line. Not the turbines, not the substations, just the transmission line that carries the electricity. That timeline says everything about how difficult it is to build clean energy infrastructure in America, and why what's happening in New Mexico right now is such a big deal. The Sunzia Wind and Transmission Project is the largest clean energy project in US history. 916 wind turbines spread across the Estancia Valley in central New Mexico, generating 3.5 gigawatts of power power. To put that in perspective, 3.5 gigawatts is enough to power roughly 1 million homes continuously, and it flows through a single 550-mile high-voltage transmission line that carries the electricity across New Mexico into Arizona, terminating near Phoenix, where it feeds directly into the California and Arizona grids. The numbers are already proving themselves. California broke its all-time wind generation record 8 times in the 4 weeks after SunZia started sending test power to the grid in early 2026. But the road to get here was genuinely brutal. The project was first conceived in 2006. What followed was nearly 2 decades of negotiations with the Department of Defense, 2 state utility commissions, 3 presidential administrations, sovereign tribal nations, and multiple rounds of federal court litigation. Pattern Energy bought the project in 2022, rerouted the entire transmission line to resolve the most contentious conflicts, and finally broke ground that same year. 17 years, $11 billion, and a power line that is now quietly reshaping how the western United States generates and moves electricity. The next project has been waiting even longer than that, and almost nobody knows it exists. New Sioux Lock. There is a place in Michigan most Americans have never heard of that holds the entire US industrial economy together, not figuratively. The Army Corps of Engineers and the Department of Homeland Security have both done the math, and a 6-month closure of this single location would cost the United States $1.1 trillion in GDP and 11 million jobs. The place is Sault Ste. Marie, and the structure is the Sioux Locks. Lake Superior sits 21 feet higher than Lake Huron. Every commercial ship moving between them has to pass through these locks, and 95% of the iron ore that feeds America's steel industry moves through just one of them, the Poe Lock. 1 chamber, 1 choke point. The steel in cars, appliances, and military equipment all depends on it staying open. Congress recognized the problem and authorized a second lock back in 1986. Then nothing happened for 32 years. Think about that. The government identified a single point of failure capable of collapsing the industrial economy, authorized a fix, and then let it sit for 3 decades because of a flawed cost analysis that assumed freight railroads could simply substitute for the lock if it ever went down. That assumption was wrong by several $billion and years of construction time. Once a corrected study came out in 2018, funding finally started moving. Construction broke ground in 2020. The new chamber mirrors the existing Poe Lock, 1,200 feet long, 110 feet wide, built into the footprint of 2 locks that were decommissioned nearly a century ago. At $2.6 billion, it is one of the most quietly critical infrastructure investments America has made in decades. Substantial completion is targeted for 2030, and when it finishes, the most important choke point in US manufacturing will finally have a backup. JFK Airport transformation. In 2026, the most important international airport in North America is still running terminals that were built during the Kennedy administration. Not renovated, not updated, built. Some of the infrastructure passengers walk through today dates back to 1962, and it shows in every delayed bag, every crowded gate, every understaffed corridor, and every ranking that puts JFK among the worst airports in the United States. That reputation is about to become a memory. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey is in the middle of a $19 billion transformation of JFK, the largest airport rebuild in American history. 5 terminals are either being constructed from the ground up or significantly expanded. New roadways are going in. A central ground transportation hub is being built to replace the chaos of the current arrival and departure experience. When everything is finished, the airport's annual capacity jumps from 63 million passengers to 90 million, and the experience of actually moving through it will be unrecognizable compared to what exists today. What makes the financial structure worth paying attention to is how $15 billion of that $19 billion is being funded, not through public debt, through private capital, structured as 4 separate public-private partnerships with leases running all the way to 2060. The Port Authority used the same model at LaGuardia, and it worked. JFK is the next one in the sequence. The timing isn't accidental either. The 2026 World Cup final is being hosted 10 miles from New York City, and officials had absolutely no interest in tens of thousands of international visitors landing in a building from 60 years ago. Terminal 6 starts taking passengers later this year. The new Terminal 1 opens in phases through 2030, and by the time it's all done, one of the most visited cities in the world will finally have an airport worthy of the address. 5 projects, hundreds of billions of dollars, and every single one of them is already underway. America isn't waiting to start building, it's already deep into it, and the results are going to be felt for the next 100 years. If you enjoyed this video, you'll love this next one.